There's a lot of impacts. We've been, as small island developing states, we have been talking about this for the last 30 years since the Climate Change Convention came into play. Because we're not just thinking about it. We have cyclones. We have countries that experience cyclones 3 times a year. We have countries that depend 80 to 90% of their livelihood on the coral reefs in the seas. When there's warm waters, when you have coral bleaching all year round, it affects the fisheries. When we have sea level rise that are eroding coastlines up to 30, 50, 100 meters, people don't have anywhere to live. So when we talk about climate change, it's on a daily basis. It's the whole year. You have countries that are affected by droughts. The same one gets blown by a cyclone, and the ones that are also affected with flooding, and can also get affected from coral bleaching. So it's the whole gamut of why we are very concerned, because our livelihood depend, and our states or some nations, if we can't, if the temperature rises over about 1.5 degrees, some of our nations will be underwater. It's been a great effort, and for that we congratulate and acknowledge the UAE and the presidency for pushing from Sharm el-Sheikh last year, when we finally got it on the agenda and approved. Within a year, we managed to capitalize it with the announcement. So it's not a win, but a relief for us to finally get approved, and now have pledges for some of the countries that have pledged, and we're grateful that these funds are now, will be able to operationalize the funds. Not enough, we look at, to really address loss and damage, we look at about 100 billion a year to really address the issue. So we've got a few close over 200-300 million that's now been pledged. It's still a long way away from getting the amounts that we'll be able to deal with to address the issues of loss and damage. The main issue is now that it's capitalized. The next stage now is to look at where it'll sit, how much. For small island states, we need those funds to be immediately operationalized, to be able to access those funds. But there are mechanisms that need to put in place. The board needs to be set up, and the mechanism need to be established on how to access it, and for the special needs, including the special circumstances of small island states and the developing nations. We all need to ensure that these mechanisms will be able to, first of all, be able to access. Second, it needs to be direct access and quicker, not the process that's in the other mechanism, other financial mechanism, which is harder. And especially also with small island developing states, they're small in terms of human resources. So we're already stretched in trying to access and be able to implement the work because of the small amount of some of the employers in some of the countries. With the L&D fund, definitely it's a win for us to finally have the L&D fund operationalized or capitalized. But there are other issues. For us, the bigger issue is we need to continue to forge forward with the 1.5, because that is our survivability.